We are foster carers.
We are social workers.
We're campaigners.
We are fundraisers.
We are supporters. And together,
we are the fostering community.
Foster care is supportive.
It's understanding.
It's empowering.
Foster care transforms lives.
It provides children and young people with safe, stable and loving homes.
Which is often their first positive experience of family life.
Foster carers have a vital role in supporting children to flourish,
to reach their potential and move into adulthood happily and confidently.
There are currently more than 65,000 children living with 55,000 foster families in the UK.
But more support is needed.
Whether you become a foster carer yourself,
or campaign to make a positive change,
or fundraise and donate,
or simply spread awareness, it is a chance to make a real difference to a child's life.
And that difference is the reason why I care about fostering.
Why you care.
Why we care.
Hi, my name is Kevin Williams and I'm honoured to be the Chief Executive at the Fostering Network. I want to use this as an opportunity to say thank you. Thank you for all the work that you have done as a foster carer in supporting young people during this, and it's an overused word, but during this unprecedented times. The pandemic has had an effect on all of us, whether that means we are working from home, not seeing loved ones, not maintaining the normal lifestyles that we have, going to the gym, work. We have all had to adapt and change. And I know that caring for young people who have not had the easiest start in life, this can be a real challenge. But I've also heard that the pandemic has helped many young people feel safe and secure. They have not had to deal with the day-to-day events of going to school and peer group pressure, the review meetings and all of the other social work intervention. And so for many, actually, during this period of time, you as the foster carers have been their main contact. The people that have helped them feel secure during a time when we are all unsecure, don't really know what's happening from day to day. I know that you have enabled young people to maintain contact with their families and friends, whether that be via Zoom or other video platforms. But also foster carers have maintained contact for some young people where it's been really important that they maintain physical contact. And I know that there have always been risks associated with that, but those risks are increased with the pandemic. And I want to say thank you for doing that. When young people aren't in school, you've become the home educators, and educating young people at home is really hard. You are not teachers, or many of you are not, and I know that you have done your best to make sure that young people have kept up with their schoolwork, because we know that if foster care is to make a difference, then actually supporting young people through education is really important. It's that education, the stability that foster care provides, that means many young people will go on to live happy and fulfilling adulthoods and achieve their dreams. But this has also been a period where we've lost people. We may have lost family members, friends, other foster carers. This has been really, really challenging. I want to say thank you for continuing to support the young people in your care during these really, really difficult times. I know that as we move back to opening up again, to young people returning to schools, to social events happening, sporting events happening, that there will be times that young people become anxious, become worried about what that means to them, what that means for their health. And I know that as foster carers, you will continue to support young people through that journey. So this is a time for me to say thank you, to reflect on some changing practices, many of which we will adopt as we go forward. The video conferencing for contact that has become much more natural for many people. But I know it's also been a time of loss. So I want to reflect on that loss, to think about the people that we have lost, to think about the people that young people have lost. But I mainly want to just say thank you. On behalf of the young people, thank you for all that you have done during the last year. And I look forward to continuing to work with you into 2021, 2022 and beyond. Take care, stay safe, and best wishes.
Hiya, my name is Marlene. I am a foster carer and I have been for the last 13 years. And in that time, I've shared my home with a lot of different children, from birth right up to preparing them for adulthood and moving them on. And in that time also a lot of fun memories, but sad memories too, and hard memories. My favourite thing probably about being a foster carer is the memories and the progress. And sometimes, you know, when you're in the thick of it, it's hard to see the progress. And for me, what helps me is I open up my photo albums of all my different children, and it's staring you right in the face about of all those times and all that progress that was very, very hard to see. That's the lottery. That's the lottery for me, and that's why I love being a foster carer. Thank you.
I'm delighted to have the opportunity to recognise the outstanding contribution that foster carers make to our society, which is so important now more than ever in the current context of the pandemic. I'm humbled by the families that have continued to offer a safe, caring environment for the children that need it. And I'm also very grateful to those of you who have stepped up to make this happen, providing much needed support to families and persevering in spite of extraordinary circumstances. It is at times like this, when we all pull together, that we see how powerful the dedication and commitment you all demonstrate really is. You provide the vital opportunities to children who've often experienced turbulence and trauma in their lives. You help them to flourish in stable, loving homes. You make it possible for children and young people to heal and move forwards to achieve their ambitions in life. The added pressures you have faced during this global pandemic cannot be overstated, with the closure of schools and new social distancing rules meaning that we were often only able to receive virtual support from both loved ones and professionals. I've always been clear that there is no expectation for parents to become teachers. And this is why the government prioritised school attendance for foster children when they were closed to the majority. But I'm conscious that this has been an experience far removed from normality. And indeed that sending foster children to school has not been an option for some of you. You've all made sacrifices, whether you're a child, a young person, or a foster parent. And I'd like to pay testament to each and every one of you. Thank you. I know too that despite the challenges of social distancing, many of you have shown a commitment to ensuring that children remain in contact with the people that are important to them, including their birth families. And it's vital that we continue to make every effort to keep these personal connections alive. There's been great creativity in finding innovative solutions to ensure children remain connected and safe in meeting up with their loved ones, whether that has been in a park or online. And throughout the pandemic, we've remained committed to working closely with fostering services and organisations in order to better understand the challenges currently faced by foster families and the ways in which the needs of your families can be met going forward. And I'm proud that we prioritised the foster children and families who needed our help and support to ensure children could be placed into foster homes when they need them, and we granted those temporary flexibilities for approving foster carers and emergency placements so that new foster carers could be assessed without any delay. And we've made sure that children have still been able to access the support they need in school by ensuring places remain available for those that needed them. In our support provided to the social care sector, local authorities will receive over £3.7 billion of additional funding to meet COVID-19 related pressures. And this work is underpinned by the commitment and indeed courage that foster carers themselves have shown in the last year. Without amazing people like you, we simply would not have a foster care system, and it's through your courage and dedication that we can transform the lives of so many children.
I care about fostering for many reasons. My mum says it comes down to the belief that every child deserves love, and I think that is the perfect way to sum it up. When my parents started fostering, when I was 14, I didn't really know what to expect. But seeing the children adapt and thrive makes me realise how amazing fostering is. And I just have so much admiration for every child in foster care and everyone a part of the fostering community.
A few weeks ago, I got a WhatsApp message from a foster carer. I clicked on it, and there was a beautiful photo of 3 brothers happily playing in the woods. And the caption under it said, "It's a privilege to be a foster carer. This is what it's all about." As we approach Foster Care Fortnight 2021, I just want to say a huge thank you to the fostering community. Throughout this past year, you have taught me more than anyone else about how to cope in adversity. We have been living through this global pandemic, and you have continued to be positive, strong, looking after children day in and day out, homeschooling, home working, with all the stresses, with all the strains of not being able to do the things you normally would do and go about and take for granted in days gone by. It's been a very, very scary time. It's been a very worrying time for many. And you've supported children who have, through their fears, when you yourself may have been feeling quite scared too. Also during this time, some of you have been ill, some are still unwell, some have had to face bereavements within your family and support children through their own loss as well. I cannot sing your praises enough. I think what has shown through has been that positive energy. Making sure that children felt safe, felt cared for, felt loved has just been commendable how you've risen to that this year. And also, despite having to be, in the confines of your household, not able to go more than a couple kilometers from home, you've been able to find ways to celebrate with children all their achievements throughout the past year. And the challenges of helping children to keep in touch with those they love and those they miss, that has been an enormous challenge for all of you. Many trying to find creative ways for children to still see their moms or dads or their brothers or sisters, and starting to see people face to face, and with worries that brought about COVID coming into your home. And so we come here now at Foster Care Fortnight. It's a time really to applaud the efforts of the fostering community in Scotland. And I just can't thank you all enough. I've been in awe by your commitment and your determination and your willingness to make sure that children have every opportunity to be proud of who they are and hold their head up high. And I just want to say a huge thank you. And here's to another wonderful year ahead. And let's hope that next year in Foster Care Fortnight, we are not in the midst of a global pandemic and we are all able to celebrate together and in person.
Day after day, I plucked my courage from the long grass, like I'd hoped to pluck handfuls of the first spring wildflowers in the month that the world changed. When we locked down, my home became a fortress to keep safe the children who needed me to be strong. For those young lives entrusted into my care, I fought a world ravaged by disease. I didn't cry in front of them. I kept my smile as I taught them their ABCs, where to find their knees, and the different types of trees. All the things I learned in school a long time since, but I dragged it from the back of my mind to share what I could. As the walls around us began to fall, I held the little ones close, wrapping them in love, giving my all, day after day, because it was what I was born to do. I did my duty and gave love to those I've welcomed into my home, so their tomorrows can be better than these dark days.
Hello everyone, I'm Kathleen Toner and I'm the Northern Ireland and Membership Director at the Fostering Network. I always feel that Foster Care Fortnight's an opportunity to take some time to shine a light on all that's positive about foster care. Too often what you do goes unnoticed, and I also know that many of you like it that way. Foster carers rarely seek praise or plaudits. A contented child is often your greatest reward. This time last year, in the throes of the first pandemic, it became clear to me that foster carers and kinship carers were determined to rise to the challenge, to pull together and committed to ensuring children in your care remain safe and secure. None of us could have predicted that 14 months on, COVID-19 would still be with us. Nevertheless, that incredible resilience is still evident in fostering families across Northern Ireland and the UK. Despite the restrictions of working from home, and perhaps because of them, I've spoken with more Northern Ireland foster and kinship foster carers than at any time since working with the Fostering Network. I've been greatly moved by the way all of you have risen to the challenge with hope, determined to ensure the children you care for are nurtured, loved and protected, not to mention educated. The Herculean task of ensuring the educational needs of children continue to be met is something we have been privileged to be able to practically support in Northern Ireland through our Fostering Attainment and Achievement Service. But no part of our community has been left untouched by COVID. I know many of you, your children, family and friends will have been affected by the impact of the virus, and some of you will have lost loved ones. I trust that those of you who have been ill are recovering well, and I send my deepest sympathies to those of you who have been bereaved. Earlier this week, we held a virtual event to celebrate Foster Care Fortnight in Northern Ireland, and we're delighted the Minister for Health, Robin Swan MLA, took time to express his gratitude to foster carers and to talk about the rebuilding of fostering services. You will hear from Minister Swan next. Alongside the vaccine rollout and the uplift in allowances for foster carers in Northern Ireland, this has demonstrated a clear acknowledgement of the vital role all of you play in ensuring children are protected, safe, secure and loved. To those of you who've shared your concerns with us on the impact of the pandemic, I want to assure you we are reflecting your concerns to policymakers and funders, and we will continue to do so. Amplifying the voice of foster and kinship carers is a priority for the Fostering Network, and it has never been more important. So I want to take this opportunity to thank every one of you for the contribution you make to vulnerable children right across our communities. At this time of huge uncertainty and instability, I know your homes continue to be safe havens. I know you continue to ensure children connect with those they love and miss. I know you continue to help children navigate the emotional impact of their experiences, and I know your unwavering commitment continues to be a stabilising influence in children's lives. That's why I'm proud to be the director of the Fostering Network and to lead a dedicated staff team who work to support all of you every day. Thank you.
Firstly, can I express my thanks to Fostering Network for the invitation to attend today's event, and I'm sorry I can't be with you personally. When the virtual event was launched last year to celebrate Foster Care Fortnight, few of us would have imagined the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. This has been a difficult year for foster carers, and in these unprecedented times, all of you continue to provide love, support and stability to the children and young people in your care. Your resilience, your dedication and your commitment has been nothing short of amazing. If the last year has taught us anything, it is the need to care for, look out for and look after each other. As we ease into the last round of restrictions and look to the future, I want to reassure you that our attention has already turned to rebuilding children's social services, and foster carers will be a key part of this. Going forward, we will listen to you about what worked well and what needs to be improved in order to rebuild services to be better, to be stronger, and to be more responsive for children and young people and their carers.
Growing up with a mum who fostered really was amazing. I mean, our house was a madhouse. There was people in and out. There was always food cooking. There was screaming and shouting and kids and everything, you name it, it was in our house. And growing up in that environment was just the best memories. Amazing knowing that you can make an impact on someone's life who has not been given a fair chance and who has not experienced loving and warmth and growth before. You get to give that to someone and show them that they deserve that. And that is why I care. And that is why I'm a foster carer today. And I am actively making a difference in children's lives because these children need us to care. And these children are our future.
Hello, my name is Colin Turner. I'm the director of the Fostering Network here in Wales. I'm talking to you today at a time when we reflect on the past 12 months. It's a harsh reality that many of us, including foster carers, have had to come to terms with the loss and deal with grief of loved ones. It goes without saying that it's very sad that I am aware that we've lost foster carers who have died from COVID-19. And this has been a great loss for their families, but also for the foster children that they have looked after for some time. I want to say thank you to the families that have been there to help children deal with grief and loss at a time when they're having to deal with other issues associated with the pandemic. My heart goes out to everybody that has been affected by grief that is associated with COVID-19. And I really hope that every support can be afforded to you and fostering families to build your lives and carry on and continue to do the tremendous work that you do. On a personal note, both as the director of the Fostering Network and as a foster carer, I want to say thank you for the time, the commitment and the continued effort and dedication you give to the so many children who are looked after in Wales. Please keep up the good work. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Ishara Tiwari, a trustee at the Fostering Network and a service manager at the Royal Borough of Greenwich. I feel truly humble and honoured to be part of this event, to remember those who we lost from the fostering community to COVID-19, and to recognise the contribution of foster families during this pandemic. Those of us who work with children know fully well that foster carers are the backbone of the care system, who care for some of our most vulnerable children and young people. However, the COVID pandemic has also highlighted the critical role that foster carers play in keeping our children and young people safe, healthy, and stable during these unprecedented times. Whilst foster carers had to courageously show compassion, care, and resilience in supporting their foster children, they also had to deal with their own fears and anxieties in comforting their loved ones, coping with grief, and attending to their own health concerns. Sadly, we lost many foster carers during this time. They are our true unsung heroes, and we thank them and their families for their selfless contribution to our children. Over the past year, we've also seen how resourceful, creative, and innovative our foster carers across the nation have become. With the lockdown and schools closing, foster carers became school teachers literally overnight. They had to step up to the challenge to become tech savvy using virtual platforms such as Zoom and MS Teams to help with lessons and brush up on their fractions, equations, signs, etc., so that they're not shown up by their children. In addition, the many meetings, support groups, training, home visits, even unannounced visits and fostering panels became virtual. I still smile when I hear that famous line, "You are on mute." It was certainly not easy having children 24/7 at home during the lockdown, keeping them entertained and stimulated. So carers got involved in a lot of arts and crafts activities, singing, baking, fun activities with the children. I've heard many fun games and quiz events and other wonderful, exciting experiences that children had on Zoom, in their gardens and in their living rooms. It was also incredible to see how innovative our Mockingbird families across the country have become in supporting children and other foster carers virtually. I attended an online Christmas talent show and was amazed to see children and young people showcase their creative skills. We had some budding artists, actors, pop stars, and even some MasterChef contenders. To avoid burdening the NHS, carers also became healthcare professionals overnight because they had to attend to children who were unwell. They became nutritionists and personal trainers as well to keep the children fit at home, and even improvised utilizing food in their cupboards when supermarket shelves were bare, and we all remember those times. Because most children were unable to see their families during lockdown, carers spent more time reassuring birth family members that their children were safe and well. Carers supported children using WhatsApp and FaceTime and Skype because these became popular ways to have virtual contact. We also know that the pandemic has had an impact on the mental health of our young people, so carers had to support their children with their emotional well-being. Foster carers were up in the middle of the night worried when children went missing. They had to sit at police stations and at A&E when necessary, and they consoled and supported children when they experienced grief or were concerned about their family members. What I've shared with you is only the tip of the iceberg of what foster carers have been doing in going that extra mile to support our children. And amidst dealing with the turbulence of the pandemic, our nation also faced the revival of the Black Lives Matter agenda. This obviously heightened the foster carers' concerns around keeping our Black and minority ethnic children safe. And they had to have sensitive conversations with children to help them understand what was going on around locally, globally, and nationally. Then there was the pressure for foster carers to receive the COVID vaccine alongside key workers. In our eyes, foster carers are key workers. Just like nurses, doctors, and supermarket workers need to go into work, foster carers continue to work 24/7 to perform their duties relentlessly. This year's Foster Care Fortnight theme, Why We Care, is so apt during this time. I have the utmost regard and respect for our foster carers who have truly demonstrated why they care through their continued dedication and indeed throughout this pandemic, which to me is the greatest testament of their commitment. For me as a manager, it's been a challenging time to ensure that our children and young people are safeguarded while supporting the needs of foster families. I also had to balance this with supporting staff who were also impacted by their fears, anxieties, grief, and uncertainty of the pandemic. Social care staff across the care system have also shown why they care by their commitment in ensuring that our children and young people were safe and stable, our carers felt supported, and they had the PPE equipment to ensure their safety. My heartfelt condolences goes out to the families of all our social care staff who sadly lost their lives while supporting our children and young people. And for me personally, like many people in this country, my family members are abroad, so it's been difficult to see them, to support them, and to be there when I lost loved ones. My daughter is a junior doctor in a hospital in Scotland, and at the height of the pandemic, she was at the acute medical unit, and this was at the time when a lot of BME medical staff were losing their lives. As a mother, I was naturally worried about her, and it was very difficult to see her or even get in touch with her because of her long hours and her shift patterns. So what we have seen is that each of us have shown how and why we care whilst going on and doing what we need to do in our personal lives. On behalf of the trustees at the Fostering Network, I want to sincerely thank all foster carers and their families for their commitment, compassion, and dedication to our children and young people during this COVID pandemic. So let's spend the rest of the Foster Care Fortnight showing why we care by remembering all those that we lost during the pandemic and recognizing the amazing contribution of foster carers in supporting our children and young people. I would like to leave you by asking you to think about one special moment or person that made a difference to you during these testing times.
I care because I see the difference that fostering makes. I came into care at 17 officially. I'd been estranged from my parents since I was 11. My foster parents are the best thing that ever happened to me. They're the reason I got into university. They're the reason that I got the support that I did. They're the reason why I can say to people I have a family. They're the reason that I can say I have a home. My foster carers basically saved me. And then my constant support network, and I can't thank them enough for that.